Okay, in this section of the course, we're going to talk about overcoming the good opinion of other people. The crowd, other people, the collective consciousness of these people, generally speaking, is quite average. The collective consciousness, according to Dr. David Hawkins, I think this was in 2012, was below the level of courage, which is 200, which is when you step into truth. So most people are living in false lives for themselves and they project that onto the world. So you don't want to be following the crowd because the crowd is average. But why do we follow the crowd? And what relationship does that have to wage slavery? Well, the relationship that it has is that you're going to step out of the crowd and you are going to create a life for yourself that you didn't even know was possible before. You'll have resistance to this from family members, close friends, the majority of society, particularly if you just speak to them, they ask you what you do and you say, I work for myself, I earn my own passive income streams from numerous different sources. They won't understand that. And like crabs in a bucket, they'll try and pull you back down to their level. So another example might be if a group of friends go out and they're all drinking alcohol and you have one friend that isn't, very often the group will try and bring down that person. They'll try and say, no, you know, have a drink. And that's trying to bring them down to that level. So breaking free of the crowd is a huge psychological barrier that we need to overcome. But why do we feel like we need to fit in? Well, it's a survival mechanism. Understanding survival is fundamental to happiness, because once you understand how you're behaving simply to make sure that you survive both physically and psychologically, which is to say your identity that you've created for yourself, that is when you can set yourself free from what everybody else expects of you. Okay, so that survival mechanism, that is there for a good purpose. You've always had that. It's kept you alive and allowed you to watch this. But when we become conscious of that, we can then transcend past it, and we know how our behaviour is keeping us average along with everybody else. So, task for you before you watch the next episode, the next section of this course, would be to just check your behaviour. Whenever you're acting a certain way which feels out of alignment with yourself, try and understand why and where that's come from. Why would you act like that? Are you doing it to make sure that your identity survives? Or are you genuinely doing it because it's what you want to do? The crowd don't think like that. The crowd just are on autopilot. And as you try and transcend past the crowd, like the crabs in the bucket, they'll try and bring you back to average level. Okay, so that's the homework for this one. For this lesson, if you start to become very present and aware of your own behaviours and your own trigger points, you can start to see where your emotional boundaries are being pressed and what identity you've created for yourself. I'll see you in the next video.